Our top story this Tuesday morning is on the sudden demise of the renowned and revered seer, and that's left the entire country in shock. Mahant Narendra Giri passed away yesterday, and the information that's come in is that this could be a death by suicide. At least that's what the cops suspect, as he was found hanging. An FIR has also been registered against his disciple Anand Giri. Giri was named by the noted seer in his purported suicide note as the one who subjected him to mental torture. Anand Giri was detained from Haridwar and has been booked for abetment to suicide. The main priest of Prayagraj's Hanuman Mandir, Adya Tiwari, and his son Sandeep Tiwari, who were also mentioned in the suicide note, have been detained. Prayagraj police say that the accused are being questioned and all angles are being looked into. Crucially, a disciple of Narendra Giri has claimed that the seer had also recorded a video before his death, the contents of which are similar to what's really been mentioned in the suicide note. UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath is reaching Prayagraj shortly to attend the last rites of Mahant Narendra Giri. His mortal remains will be kept at the Bagambari Mutt at 11:30 this morning in Prayagraj for devotees to also come in and pay their last respects.
Mahant Narendra Giri, revered by millions, is found dead under mysterious circumstances. The news has come as a shock to the spiritual community across the country. Mahant's body was found hanging from a fan by a nylon rope at the Bagambari Mutt in Prayagraj. His room was locked from inside. To get in, the authorities had to break the door. Inside the room, the police recovered a 7-page suicide note. The note alleges Mahant Narendra Giri was facing mental trauma inflicted by his own disciples. It alleges Anand Giri and 2 other disciples were troubling the seer.
सर आनंद गिरी के अलावा 2 लोगों की बात है, ये 2 लोग कौन है, क्या आशंका जताई गई है?
ये अब वहाँ के जो अधिकारी, स्थानीय अधिकारी हैं, इस पे कार्रवाई करेंगे। हो सकता है वो वहाँ के वो स्थानीय लोग हों, इसलिए मुख्यालय से इस तरह का कोई हेल्प नहीं मांगा गया, और अगर तत्काल रूप से इनको डिटेन नहीं किया जाता तो इससे भी असंतोष फैल सकता था।
The police investigation did not begin in the best fashion.
उत्तर प्रदेश पुलिस ने आनंद गिरी को उत्तरांचल पुलिस के सहायता से हरिद्वार में डिटेन किया है।
Less than an hour after the police announced Anand Giri's detention, the disciple appeared on Aaj Tak. Anand Giri, who is named in the suicide note, is calling the Mahant's death a murder.
हमारे गुरुजी ने अपने पूरे जीवन काल में कभी एक पत्र भी नहीं लिखा, वो इतना बड़ा सुसाइड नोट भी लिख सकते। हमारे गुरुजी का व्यवहार बेबाक था और बहुत मजबूत था, वो कभी आत्महत्या नहीं कर सकते, उनकी हत्या हुई है।
Narendra Giri, who was the president of the Akhil Bharatiya Akhara Parishad, had given his last interview to India Today, just a day before the death.
हम लोग संत महात्मा चाहते भी हैं कि विकास के साथ साथ धर्म को जोड़ना भी जरूरी होता है। जो हमारी परंपरा में सनातन परंपरा को लेकर चले, वह सरकार अच्छी भी होती है और धर्म के प्रति वो डरती भी है।
Narendra Giri and Anand Giri have had differences earlier. Anand Giri was once allegedly accused of financial impropriety but was forgiven by the Guru.
उन्होंने कहा कि जो सोशल मीडिया, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया, प्रिंट मीडिया में जो भी हमने गुरु के प्रति वक्तव्य दिया है वो वापस लेता हूँ। यह सब देखते हुए मैं भी सहृदय आनंद गिरी को माफ करता हूँ।
Narendra Giri's sudden demise has left political circles in shock. Leaders cutting across party lines paid condolences.
अखाड़ा परिषद के अध्यक्ष के नाते उन्होंने जो नेतृत्व देने का काम किया, मैं तो एकदम निःशब्द, मैं तो व्यक्तिगत तौर से बहुत दुखी। मतलब मुझे लगता है कि जैसे मेरा कोई पिता समान कोई ऐसा संरक्षक, ऐसा मार्गदर्शक चला गया है जिनकी कमी अब कैसे पूरी होगी।
While the police suspect the death to be a suicide, a clear picture will emerge only after the autopsy and other forensic reports are available. With Samarth Srivastav and Abhishek Mishra, Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's take this across to Samarth Srivastava. He's joining us live from Prayagraj with the latest updates on the investigation. Samarth, so the accused here who've been named by Mahant Narendra Giri in the suicide note, one of them is Anand Giri. They've come out to state that this is a murder, that there is a conspiracy in play here. But what do the police say? What does the FIR really suggest here?
Well, yes, Anand Tiwari has been named in the FIR, and it clearly says, the suicide note also clearly says that there were 3 disciples who were involved in this entire thing, and they were in a way mentally disturbing Mahant Narendra Das, due to which he took such an extreme step. Because he was not somebody, he was a positive person with positive vibes, he was not somebody to end his life. That shows that he would have been blackmailed to some extent, and then he decided to do this. And as far as we know, the suicide letter is of 6 to 8 pages. That shows he has clearly written the entire bill in the suicide note and clearly mentioned that what property area would be given to whom in this particular mutt and in this particular Prayagraj district. So these are the things coming around, and if I can show you the visuals out here, I'm standing at the mutt where he ended his life, and right behind me you can see the force of Uttar Pradesh police. They have come up in large numbers, and security has been beefed before the arrival of UP CM Yogi Adityanath. And right behind this tent is the guest house, is the room where Mahant Narendra Das ended his life. So that is why the force has been beefed up, while VIP movement is expected. And what we know, around 12 PM, Akhilesh Yadav, former UP CM, will also be coming here to Prayagraj. As what I was saying before, that Mahant Narendra Giri Das was such a saint, was such a seer, who had good terms with every political party, every political leader. Mulayam Singh Yadav, Shivpal Yadav, Azam Khan, every political leader visited this place, visited Lete Hue Hanuman Temple of Prayagraj many a times. He was also a head saint of Lete Hue Hanuman Temple. So he had good terms with Akhilesh Yadav, Yogi Adityanath. He was not somebody to have terms with one particular party. So a man with such huge respect and everything. And as you see the visuals out here, what I am trying to show you, this is the mutt where the incident took place, and this is the place where our team met. So this came as a shocker for entire saint community, not only entire saint community, but for entire India. So because he was the president of Akhara Parishad, he was such a big name. Yes.
Right, Samarth, thank you for those details. We'll keep coming to you through this broadcast, so do stay on with us. Let's also take a look at the kind of reactions that have come in. You know, this news of Mahant Narendra Giri's death led to a lot of shock across the nation. And here's how Sears reacted to this news.
उनके यह घटना से मैं दुखी हूँ, पूरा साधु समाज दुखी है। सबसे पहले है कि इस पर जांच, उच्च स्तरीय जांच हो, IMA जो दोषी हो उसको दंड दिया जाए, उचित कार्रवाई किया जाए।
हमारे महाराज जी बहुत अच्छे से कार्य करते रहे और सब संतों के प्रिय थे। ये सुसाइड तो खैर नहीं कर सकते, वो इस बात का तो तय है कि उनको ज्ञान था कि अकाल मृत्यु शरीर नहीं छोड़ना चाहिए, तो इस बात का तो ये गठन करते हैं, सभी संत समाज कर रहा है कि सुसाइड नहीं करेंगे।
ये बहुत ही दुखद घटना है हमारे सनातन धर्म संस्कृति के लिए। ऐसा लगता नहीं था कि वो इस तरह का कोई कदम जो सामने आया है, जो मालूम पड़ रहा है, ये मुझे नहीं लगता कि ऐसा हुआ है। इसके पीछे बहुत बड़ा षड्यंत्र है और इसकी विधिवत जांच होनी चाहिए, हमारी यही सरकार से कामना है।
There's a lot of politics also playing out over the sudden demise of Mahant Narendra Giri. And political parties are coming out to say that there must be a thorough investigation. Some of them are saying that the CBI should investigate the death of Narendra Giri. Here are some of those reactions.
आज महंत नरेंद्र गिरी जी हमारे बीच में नहीं रहे, हम सबके लिए बहुत दुख की बात है और पूरा संत समाज और हिंदुस्तान की जनता आज बहुत दुखी है। मैं तो सरकार से ही कहूंगा, सरकार उनकी मौत की निष्पक्ष जांच करे और सच जनता के सामने आए।
महंत नरेंद्र गिरी जी का दुखद परिस्थितियों में निधन हो गया है। हम सब शोकाकुल हैं। जिन परिस्थितियों में उनकी मृत्यु हुई है, उनके कारणों की गंभीरता पूर्वक, निष्पक्षता पूर्वक सरकार को जांच करनी होगी ताकि दोषियों के खिलाफ कड़ी कार्रवाई की जा सके। जिन परिस्थितियों में, जिन संदिग्ध परिस्थितियों में उनकी मृत्यु हुई है, उनके कारणों की समुचित, गहन और निष्पक्षता से जांच हो।
So let's take a look at exactly what happened. What is the information we have right now on the death of Mahant Narendra Giri? Here's exactly what happened. His body was found. He was found hanging at his mutt. Now, Narendra Giri was found hanging at the Prayagraj mutt. And soon after that, it was his disciples, in fact, who'd found his body. The seer, in fact, had given a suicide note, which was recovered and retrieved by the cops, in which he blamed several disciples for his death, for his suicide, and for him taking the extreme step. Now, specifically, he named 3 disciples, including one of the top disciples of the Prayagraj mutt, Anand Giri. He accused them of mentally harassing him, leading him to take this step. The disciples, in turn, have claimed that the suicide note is fake, that it's not been written by Mahant Narendra Giri. They're saying that this is a conspiracy, this is a case of murder. So the disciples have gone on record. Anand Giri, speaking to India Today, had said very clearly that this seer was murdered, and there's a lot more that's happening than what meets the eye. Now, who exactly was Mahant Narendra Giri? Why is the entire country really talking about the death of this renowned seer? He is the head of the influential Akhara Parishad. In fact, he took over as the president of the Akhara Parishad in 2016. Now, the reason this particular group is so renowned and so influential is because, in fact, it's the largest organization of seers in the country. And Mahant Narendra Giri was heading this organization. Let's also tell you about the investigation so far. Who are the suspects? I mentioned the name of Anand Giri. He's a disciple, part of the Prayagraj mutt. He's been named in the suicide note, according to the police, of Mahant Narendra Giri. Several other names of disciples as well in the suicide note. You have also, in fact, Adhya Tiwari, who's been named. Again, someone who is part of this mutt. He's a seer there, and he's been named in the suicide note. Sandeep Tiwari, also a seer in the Prayagraj mutt, has been named in the suicide note. Now, also, besides the disciples that have been named, you've got Anand Giri claiming that this is a case of murder, and he's named several others who he claims are suspects. One of them is Mahant Narendra Giri's guard, Ajay Singh. He's been named. Beyond that, Anand Giri also has gone on record to go ahead and name another close aide of Mahant Narendra Giri, Manish Shukla. Remember that these 2 names haven't been mentioned in the suicide note, but have been named by Anand Giri, who's been named in the suicide note by Mahant Narendra Giri.